Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 91 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy you're here with me today. It is Saturday, December 18th, 2021, and we've got a nice, not quite wintry day. It's almost like an autumn day. It's overcast. There was a little bit of rain overnight, and it's quite warm out. I think yesterday it went up to the low 60s in Fahrenheit. So it's been unusual weather here lately. It's been quite warm. I think it's highly unlikely we're going to have a white Christmas around here this year, but so be it. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for coming by to join me this week. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what I've been up to. So I was away last week, or I didn't post a regular podcast last week because I was recovering from hand surgery and I still had the stitches in my right hand or my right thumb. Those just came out on Tuesday, the 14th. The 14th of December. And I'll show you what it looks like now. It's healing up beautifully. They're very happy with how it's healing, and they don't see any problems with it whatsoever. So I'm super happy with that. So I'll show you what it looks like now. And if you don't want to look at that, just close your eyes for a couple minutes. So it's looking quite good. It's healing very nicely, as I mentioned. You can look back if you were closing your eyes for a moment. So it's healing up very nicely. There's still a bit of dry skin on there, and it's not looking overly fantastic yet, but it's definitely healing quite nicely, and I'm very happy with how it's healing. I picked up my knitting needles again for the first time. The stitches came out on Tuesday late afternoon. I was supposed to have them out first thing in the morning at 8:30, but the appointment got rescheduled and I didn't get them out until 2:30. It was 2:30 in the afternoon. And then the hubby and I had all kinds of errands that we had to get run later on that day. So I just didn't get to doing any more knitting, or didn't get to get back to knitting. I also had to get a handful of things finished up for school. I am officially on our winter break from university right now. Actually, a lot of what I was doing in my extra time on Tuesday was finishing up grading 2 of my online classes, making sure that the final grades were submitted, all the last straggler bits of grading were finished, and I also had to make sure I had the last test for my face-to-face class. I had to make sure I had that ready to go because those kids wrote their last test at noon on Wednesday the 15th. So once they were done writing, I got those graded up lickety-split, and then I got their final grades submitted, and with that I dust off my hands for the semester. So I'm planning on taking a good solid 2 weeks where I'm going to do very little work-wise. I found this past semester has been very busy, very stressful, just a lot. Between getting a positive COVID test, even though I was asymptomatic, positive COVID test, 2 hand surgeries, there was a lot going on this semester. So I am planning on taking a couple weeks. I will not be going back into any kind of school stuff until January rolls around, until Monday after New Year's Day. And I will do the tiniest bit of school stuff. I will check my emails once a day. I'll check them every morning. And if there's anything that I think is an emergency that I have to deal with, I will. Otherwise, I'm not doing any I'm not doing any school related stuff. I am going to take this time to relax, recharge, enjoy my knitting, enjoy my time at home. Unfortunately, I'm not able to travel to Canada to visit family this Christmas. The travel restrictions are just too iffy, and I really didn't want to risk traveling internationally and having any troubles come about with that, especially if I have to come back into work in the beginning of January. Sipping a cup of tea this afternoon. This is one of my Advent teas. This is for day 12. I'm behind on that. I'm behind on everything. Good grief, I'm behind on everything, as you will see. But this is golden chai. So this was the tea for day number 12 in my tea Advent calendar, and it's a really nice tea. I really am enjoying it. It's just got a mild chai flavor. It smells fantastic. And it tastes really, really good. It's probably one of my favorite ones that I've had so far this year in my Advent calendar. So I'm really, really enjoying that. So with that, let's talk about some knitting. I've been yakking for 5-10 minutes. It's time to start telling you about some knitting. We'll talk about more miscellaneous stuff at the end. So I picked up my knitting needles. So again, as I said, my students finished up their last test. They were done by about 1:30 on this past Wednesday. I had all the grading done, everything submitted, everything done by about 2:30. I blitzed through those to get them done as fast as I could. And so I got that all done. Then the hubby came and picked me up after work, and we went out for pizza for a celebratory supper for finishing up the semester. And then we had some things to do. We had our regular Wednesday evening service at church. As probably if you've been watching my channel for a while, most of you probably know my husband is a pastor. And so we have church on Sundays, and also we have a prayer service on Wednesday evenings. So after we had supper, we went to church for the evening, and I got my knitting out again. So I hadn't had a chance, since I got the stitches out on Tuesday afternoon. I honestly was quite busy with school things and work things and didn't really have the time to do it. So Wednesday evening at church, I pulled out my knitting. So I thought I just want to work on something that's simple, straightforward, wouldn't make a difference, wouldn't make a huge difference if my tension and my gauge was a little bit wonky with my hand. And everything was fine with that. My hand was good. I would knit a few rounds, rest, knit a little bit, rest. I did spend a while making sure that I wasn't overdoing it. And I still am making sure that I'm not overdoing it. I'm not into doing super marathon sessions of knitting. So I will finally shut up and show you what I've been working on. So on Wednesday evening, I put some time and some love into my sorta shorty Halloween socks. So late, very late. These will be ready for next Halloween, next October. They will certainly did not make it on time for this year's Halloween. So where the marker is, I had this much done last time I showed you these, and I've added another couple inches. So they're at the point now where I'm ready to do the heel or the heel flap and then the heel turn and start moving down the foot. So they're coming along nicely. I'm not in a huge hurry, obviously, to finish Halloween socks in December. I did not get anything done. I didn't get started on a pair of Halloween or Christmas socks this year. I might do those in January. We shall see. Maybe depending, I might cast some on once I get my Halloween socks done. Because I really would like to get some more work done on getting myself a Christmas box of socks. So I have a pair of socks, a different pair of Christmas themed socks to wear every day next December. I won't have enough for next December. One year I will have enough for each day of each day leading up to Christmas in December. So those are my sort of shorty Halloween socks. The yarn I'm using is a bear yarn that I dyed myself, and just using, I had some orange and some purple that I did in splotches, and a few little, it has a few little, you can see a few little specklies that were in there as well. And they're not quite a vanilla sock. They're a 2x2 rib, and I continued with the 2x2 rib all the way down the leg. I will do a basic slip stitch heel flap, then a heel turn, do my gusset decreases, and come down the foot. The foot, I will continue doing the 2x2 ribbing down the top of the foot until I get to the toe. And time for the toe decreasing, then I will just do stockingette from that point. So I'm using 2.25 millimeter needles. That's my go-to needle size for knitting socks. And they're a pair of my Chiaogu. I think I'm gonna have to get the hubby to, I just saw some flickering up there, my overhead light in my craft room. There's 2 or 3 bulbs in there. One of them has been burnt out for a while, and the other one's been flickering. So I'm afraid that the other light is on its way out as well. So I'm just kind of keeping in half an eye on that. It has flickered a few times in the last little bit. So I'll have to get my hubby to climb up on a ladder, and we'll get that fixed. We should get that fixed this afternoon. It takes 2 people to do that because it's a big, it's a high ceiling, and it's a big fan globe light. So he gets it down, hands the globe down to me, I clean out the inside of the globe while he switches the lights, and then we get everything back up and going again. So that's a chore for this afternoon. I'm off on a lot of little rambly rabbit trails today. I apologize. And the other project that I've been doing some work on in the last few days is my advent calendar scarf for 2021. This is a pattern by Trisha Weatherston, and it is affiliated with the Sock Madness group, and one of the people that used to do a lot of the moderating within the Sock Madness group. And each year Trisha has been doing an advent scarf pattern. A few years it's been a cowl. Most years it's a scarf. They're different every year. Most of the scarves in this stack right here are scarves from previous advent years. I think this is my 8th year doing it. 9th year? I've been doing them for a long time, and I love them. So what she does is she gives us some information earlier, towards the end of November, with a bit of information on what type of yarn we need, whether it's fingering weight, DK, whether it's multiple colors, whether it's scraps, whether it's one color, whether gradient is a good idea, so on. And then the clues start coming out the 1st of December and go until the 24th of September. So I might have showed you this 2 weeks ago when I podcasted last. I had done this year's a cowl, as I mentioned, and this year's pattern is going to be a combination of Japanese lace stitches and color work. And I have been following the thread on Ravelry about this since timing was horrible for me this year. The first clue came out on the 1st of December. The 1st of December, I was getting my thumb surgery. So I cast on, she gave the information for the initial cast on to do the provisional cast on, and then 2 rounds of plain knitting. And then when December 1st came around, we were ready to start with the actual pattern itself. So I started up, I did the provisional cast on, crochet provisional cast on, where I did it directly onto the knitting needle and the cable. And I knit the first round. I got most of the way through the second round and ran out of time because I didn't actually cast it on and didn't really focus on it until close to the first. And when I was doing my knitting needles sort out, that you may have watched the video series that I posted in the last week or so, I realized after I had done those videos that I had used the wrong size needle for the cast on. Somehow I read that the 4mm, no, it said on the pattern that it was a 3.25mm or US size 4. Somehow I translated that to 4mm. So I used the wrong size needle for the initial stitches, and the cable on my set of needles was a little bit too long, so I wasn't able to do it completely in the round, and there are too many stitches for it to happily work using magic loop, and not enough stitches to have it happily work doing it completely in the round with all the stitches just spread out over the needles and the cable. So I ordered 2 new Xiaogu needles. We need a size 3mm and a 3.25mm. I think those are the right sizes. If I have those numbers wrong, I will I'll put that down someplace here if I've messed that up. It's either 3.3 and a 3.25 or 3.25 and 3.5. Either way, I'll let you know if I messed up on those numbers. So I pulled it out, I ordered the new needles, I pulled it out, and I recast it on the 16th, on Thursday. So on Thursday I finished that, and I also finished the first clue. And Friday, I had a lot of things going on yesterday, so I didn't get a lot of knitting done yesterday. And this morning, I finished the second clue. So I'm ready today to start cruising into day number 3, as day 18 has already been posted. So I'm way, way behind. But this is the first 2 days worth of clues. So I don't think this is going to be a spoiler for anyone because I'm so far behind. But I have been looking at the clues as they've come out, and I've been looking at some of the images of other people's scarves, and the instructions suggested using up to seven or 8 colors. And they said it can be done with only 2 colors, but depending on how you want to do them, you can do it with multiple colors as well. Now I've been looking at some of the pictures, and I've seen a few where people have only done it in 2 colors, and I love it. I love the look of that with the color work. Doing the Japanese stitches, in my case I will be doing all the Japanese stitches in the white yarn, or it's some of my bare yarn that I have. So I'm doing all of the Japanese stitch sections in the bare yarn. And then the color work, what I've seen some people do is they do the background color for the color work in a different color, and then the color work portion itself they do in the equivalent of my bare yarn. What I've seen other people do is they've done the entire scarf in white, and the color work, some have done the color work in multiple colors with the white background, and others have done it with just a single color. And I love the look of the single color. So what I'm going to do is, mine is going to look, I think it's this combination I have. I think that might be the yarn I have left over. Or it's a different blue. But what I'm going to do is All the Japanese stitch sections are going to be done in the white. All of my colorwork background sections are going to be done in white. And the actual colorwork design is going to be done in blue. And I forgot to bring that skein of yarn over here with me, or the ball of yarn that I have. It's a leftover ball, and it's a decent amount. It's probably about 70 grams, so it's a lot. It'll be enough to do this. So I've seen, so far the scarf has a section of the Japanese stitches, then one section of color work, then another section of Japanese stitches, and then there's a spot where you do a row where it's going to cause the cowl to fold in half. So you're going to have all the back side of the color work is going to be in between two layers. So then the next section is more Japanese, colorwork section, which will also look good done in a white background with the blue design. And then the final part, I don't know what it looks like yet. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be another colorwork section, or two more, another colorwork and another Japanese stitch section. We shall see. But the one side is a Japanese stitch section, colorwork, and then Japanese stitch section. And then on the other side, it's colorwork, and now they're starting a Japanese stitch section. So I'm wondering if maybe the other side is going to be colorwork, Japanese stitch, colorwork to finish it off. We will see. So that's my knitting progress for 2 weeks. Granted, I was out of commission for 2 weeks. So I've worked on, and I suspect that I will be pretty much monogamous on the Advent scarf for the remainder of at least the next week. I have not touched shawlography since the end of November. So I haven't touched that for a while. I will get back to that after I'm done the Advent scarf. So I think those are the only, my Sunday cardigan. I will not be working on my Sunday cardigan while I still have rough spots from where the incision was on my hand. And there will be rough spots for at least another couple weeks, at least 2 more weeks. So the Sunday cardigan probably will not see any love until January. I really doubt I'll touch it until January. So my guess is over the next little while, I'm going to spend most of my knitting time working on the Advent scarf in hopes that I can get it finished. While it's still 2021. Most years when I've done the Advent scarves, I have not kept up, and I finished some of them. I finished in December. Some of them I didn't finish until into the new year. Stay tuned, see how I progress with that. But my guess is that I'm going to be very monogamous with that project for the next week or 2. I'm hoping to start getting more than 1 day's work done in 1 day, because otherwise I won't finish it in 2021. I'd love to have it finished this year, but we shall see. So typically I film my podcasts on a Saturday and upload them. I film it late morning, early afternoon, ideally. And then I do the editing and get it uploaded later on a Saturday. I'm not sure what I'll be doing this upcoming week in terms of doing my podcast. Next Saturday is Christmas Day. And I kind of suspect that the hubby and I will just have a nice quiet day just to ourselves at home. We don't have family to visit nearby. We have no plans to do any traveling over Christmas. I suspect we will sleep in. We will leisurely open up a few little Christmas gifts that we've got each other, and we'll just veg out for the day. So I'm really not sure if I will get around to or do a podcast on Christmas Day. I suspect I will leave it till Sunday. I might film it on Sunday afternoon after Christmas. We'll see. And then again, the following week will fall on New Year's Day. And we have plans. I don't know if we're doing anything New Year's Eve. Probably not. And we will be going over to a friend's. We've been invited over to a friend's for the afternoon on New Year's Day. So I suspect I will probably film my podcast on Sunday again, on the 2nd of January. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it on New Year's Eve. I don't know. But those are my plans for the next couple weeks. So again, Christmas is just going to be a nice quiet time with the hubby and I. We still have to plan what we're doing for what we're going to cook for Christmas dinner. I don't know if we'll do a ham. I think we might do seafood. Do some shrimp, get some scallops, crab cakes, all kinds of yum stuff like that. That might be what we do. I don't know. Well, I guess we have to decide fairly soon what we're going to do. But we don't have anything specific planned. We did the big turkey dinner for Thanksgiving. I doubt we'll do the big turkey dinner we will not be doing the big turkey dinner for Christmas. Might do a ham, might do seafood. Time will tell. We better decide fairly soon because we might need to get a few groceries for that. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Oh, and do you see my cute little Christmas type earrings? Aren't they just the cutest little things, little snowmen? I love them. They're at a little local restaurant of ours. They were locally made and on display and sale at this little local restaurant of ours. And when we were paying for a meal, I saw them and I'm just like, oh, they're just too stinking cute. And they were not expensive at all. So they fit the pocketbook beautifully. And I just think they're so adorable. So adorable. But otherwise, I think I'm running out of time on my memory card here on the camera. So on that note, I will let you go. And I'm going to get back to knitting on my Advent scarf. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye, everyone.